Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're cracking open Robert Greene's incredibly famous distillation of 3,000 years of history, philosophy, and psychology, the 48 Laws of Power. We're going to take a totally impartial look at how this ancient strategic wisdom translates directly into human behavior and the power dynamics we navigate in our modern lives. Behind this iconic red cover lies a really fascinating and, honestly, sometimes ruthless playbook for what the author calls the modern court. Now, we're exploring these synthesized ideas not to endorse them, but really to use them as a neutral lens. It helps us decode those subtle social games being played in professional environments literally every single day. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the modern court, distilling 3,000 years, prerequisites for the game, navigating bosses and friends, strategies of the jungle, and finally, the power of formlessness. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Modern Court. What's super interesting here is how power is framed. It's not about brute force, it's a very subtle social game. Think about it. Direct confrontation rarely actually works in the modern workplace, right? Instead, the modern courtier thrives on indirection. They appear perfectly decent, totally cooperative, all while strategically maneuvering behind the scenes to advance their own position.
Moving on to Section 2, Distilling 3,000 Years.
Greene didn't just invent these laws out of thin air, he curated them from the absolute greatest strategist across 3 millennia. We're talking the military genius of Sun Tzu way back in the 4th century BC, the stark political realism of Machiavelli during the Renaissance, and the incredibly refined courtier wisdom of Balthasar Gracian in the 17th century. It's all this ancient wisdom perfectly adapted for the modern professional. As Balthasar Gracian so perfectly observed, watching the people around you isn't just a hobby. It's a matter of professional survival. People are infinitely complex, right? It's like a giant puzzle. If you really want to climb that corporate ladder, your technical skills are kind of secondary. Your psychological insight into the people you actually work with, that is hands down your greatest asset.
Section 3. Prerequisites for the game.
Okay, before you can play the game, you absolutely must control yourself. The text is crystal clear on this. An emotional response is your greatest barrier to power, because emotion completely clouds your reason. If an opponent can make you angry, well, they own you. Complete objectivity is the absolute foundation of all these strategies.
So, how do we actually maintain that objectivity? The text lays out this really precise step-by-step guide using what it calls the backward-glancing eye. The idea is, don't dwell on past mistakes with guilt. Instead, treat them like a laboratory. Think of a lost client or maybe a missed promotion. Run it through these laws, extract the exact misstep you made, and vow to literally never fall into that specific trap again.
Let's look at Section 4, Navigating Bosses and Friends.
Now this is law number 1 for a very good reason. Never outshine the master. If you're going after that promotion, parading your brilliance everywhere might actually backfire by triggering your manager's insecurity. It's just human nature to want to feel secure in your position of power. So the truly strategic move? Make your boss appear more brilliant than they actually are.
Think about this contrast here. Who do you hire, a friend or a former enemy? Well, the book warns that hiring friends blurs those professional boundaries and can easily arouse envy. But a former rival? Actually, they have everything to prove. In the workplace, alliances should really be built on competence and execution, not just affection.
Section 5. Strategies of the jungle. Greene frequently relies on these really vivid nature metaphors to explain social dynamics. Basically, the world of power is a jungle. Just as animals survive by conserving energy and letting the environment do the heavy lifting, the savvy professional looks for ways to achieve maximum results with minimal exposure. Let's look at how that works in practice.
Take the vulture strategy, for example. In a business setting, this might look like safely taking the credit for a project's success while totally avoiding the exhaustion of the actual labor. The brutal truth of the text is that our energy is finite. If you do all the heavy lifting yourself, you're going to burn out. The strategic player stands on the shoulders of giants, acquiring results from the sweat of others.
I love this one because it elegantly captures why you should really restrain that natural tendency to take sides in office squabbles. When 2 colleagues are locked in a bitter dispute, remaining perfectly neutral lets them exhaust their own resources. As the ancient saying goes, you become the fisherman who easily scoops up the prize simply because the snipe and the mussel are way too busy fighting each other.
Section 6, The Power of Formlessness.
So this is known as the neutralizing effect, and it's a real game changer. By acting as a mirror, you force your opponents to react to you. This tactic has been used since ancient Athens. Mirroring someone's exact moves totally masks your true intentions. It infuriates them, throws them off balance, and most importantly, buys you that crucial mental space and time to formulate your actual strategy behind the scenes.
Just as water flows, relying too heavily on rigid past precedents is incredibly dangerous. This brilliant insight from Sun Tzu reminds us that what worked perfectly yesterday might literally destroy you today. The most powerful people don't have a single predictable style. They are formless. They assess the specific environment and shape themselves perfectly to the demands of that exact moment.
As we wrap up this explainer, we want to leave you to ponder the practical necessity of these timeless dynamics. The text posits that power is a game we are all forced to play, whether we actually want to or not. So, the ultimate question for you is, will you choose to understand the rules and navigate the board, or will you remain comfortably ignorant and risk being outmaneuvered?